You know what? Go, just go.
Welcome to the April 16th, 2025 meeting of the Lyman Planning Board. This meeting will come to order. This is a public proceeding, and unless the board specifically votes to go into executive session, you have the right to hear everything that is being said and to look at all the exhibits that are offered. If the board votes to go into executive session, the reason for the same shall be stated. Please notify the board chair if you are having difficulty seeing or hearing. This meeting is being digitally recorded and broadcast on YouTube. In each instance, the burden is upon the applicant to demonstrate compliance with the provisions of the applicable ordinance or ordinances. After the board votes on the merits of each project, it will prepare a written opinion, which will be forwarded within 7 days. The board works from a prepared agenda and will be considering this meeting items in the following order. Regular meeting will be for Jason Gothier, 48 Burley Way, map 6, lot 28-6A, best practical location for a shed in the shoreline zone. Number 2, Harper Residential Subdivision, tax map 3, lot 87-3, and portion of tax map 3, lot 87-2, Old Kennybunk Road, 9 residential lots, final subdivision application. Number 3, Carlisle Brook Estates, map 4, lot 22, preliminary subdivision application. Review the site walk notes from 4/12/25. Number 4, set the agenda for the public hearing and meeting on May 7th of 2025. Minutes of the meetings for the public planning board public hearing and meeting is available at the town website. Review the meeting minutes for March 19th and public hearing and meeting minutes for 4/2/25 meeting. Old business and mail is Patrick Gagnon, 54 Wilderness Way, map 3, lot 33, wants to add vehicle inspection site. And Daniel Marquette, 135 Shore Road, map 17, lot 57. Tom a chance to discuss request for best practical location for a deck within the shoreline. Public hearing on May 7th. So, do you want to do the attendance, Tim?
Yep, Tim Rivard, 4 Farm Road.
Bill Single, 8 Single Lane.
Cecile Dupuy, 53 Chapel Shores Road.
Kevin Vare, 64 Buckinut Pond Road.
All right, Mr. Gothier,
Yes, sir.
why don't you make us smart?
All right. I don't know, I'll do my best here.
Do you want those other lights on?
That would help.
Yeah, I think that would be good. Good idea.
All right, so I'll just kind of take you through what I'm trying to do here. I'm learning a lot about the shoreline zoning myself. We have a property at 48 Burley Way, which you can see some of the pictures here is quite sloped on the way down to the water. So we had asked to build, I saw a provision in there for an 80 square foot shed was allowed within the 100-foot buffer zone. I didn't realize it didn't apply to my lot originally, which is what kind of led me here. It's beyond just a regular building permit process. So I tried to put everything on a map here, the overlay of where the shed will be as opposed to the house in Leachfield. And you can see from one of the plans, you know, the grid lines showing the slope and then the associated pictures below. So basically, I'm just trying to put a shed at the bottom of the infiltration steps. It's probably like, I don't know, 50-foot drop down towards the water, 55 steps or so. And I was just trying to get something, a structure down there to store life jackets, canoes, things like that.
What size shed is this?
So it's 8 by 10. I was just kind of sticking with the provisional 80 square foot, which I think is more than sufficient for what I'm trying to use it for. And there is, it's kind of hard to tell just from the photos. We did walk it together Rebecca and I, but there's like one flat spot in like a perfect location. It's 25 feet back from the water. It's not visible from any other land area. It's my wife's uncle that lives next door anyway, and my father up the street. So definitely no issues with the neighbors, but it's just a very private, tucked away little area. No trees need to be cut right now. I did stake it out and measure it out just to be sure. And it looks like it's in a decent little area. Was I not supposed to do that? Oh,
No, I was just chuckling.
oh yeah.
Very important.
I know, that's my last resort there.
So is that the only shed? Do you have a shed there already?
I do know.
You do know. So it's just that you have a house and there's another structure there. Is that a garage or?
So right now it's just the garage,
Okay.
with like the accessory dwelling unit above. I would like to
Okay.
eventually build our retirement home there, but, just, that's several years down the road. So for now, it's just the garage with the accessory dwelling and no other structures on the land.
What size is the actual lot, acre-wise?
It's 5.87, I believe, just under 6.
Just under 6 acres?
Yeah.
And it's short.
Yes. Well, I think, I don't know. Just because it's.
Well,
on-
shoreland's usually minimum 1.1 acre, right? So if he's got over 5 acres,
Yeah, that's the issue, because he's a conforming lot.
he
It's
is
a
a
It's a
conforming.
conforming lot,
Okay.
yeah. So really, I don't think you can put anything within 75 feet of the water. It's a building, it's a,
Yeah, but
it's,
not gonna be on a foundation, just
No,
gonna be on
no.
blocks.
Yep, with a crushed
So-
rock underneath for
So
drainage.
technically, it's not permanent.
Correct.
How far does he have to move it every 6 months?
put it on wheels.
I actually thought about that. I'm like, if I put it on wheels, is that technically allowed at that
Well-
point? But
It can't be left stationary, but if it's movable, how far would it have to be moved to be considered portable?
6.2.
I don't
A
know
foot?
that provision. I mean, I know if you have a tent, they
move it a
still
foot.
require that 75 feet for a tent, and that's temporary.
It does require 75 feet for a tent? Okay.
Yeah.
Try.
I know, try hard.
I thought the camping site was allowed on a 30,000, but it's still going to be the setback.
It still does, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So yes, it is allowed, but it has to be set.
I think, I'm certainly not well versed in it, but what I was reading is that the variance would be allowed for undue hardship, reasoning. I think I'm moving around okay right now, but just, trying to prepare for the future here and also carrying 2 little kids up and down all day, it'd be nice to have some stuff down there already waiting for us.
Yeah, variance, so you'd have to go before the zoning board.
Does it say
yes.
anything about temporary?
What was that there? You said
You
so there
just
is
need
a-
to setback for structures.
I do plan to move it all winter, actually, so it's just temporary for the summer and, I'll move it for the winter.
So 75 feet.
Could put a rubber tube under it and call it a dock.
You could put skis under it and call it an ice shack.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, it would still be movable. That's the whole deal, is like, what can we do legitimately is what I'm
Right.
looking for.
I mean, you have a conforming lot and you're not, you qualify with the 20% coverage, you've got all of that is fine. It's just the setback.
You said there was a provision for a shed in the,
So there is for non-conforming lots, which was my confusion. I didn't really, I guess I was thinking, well, if I had only 100 feet of waterfront, it would be okay. But because I
If
have a
it's
little bit
totally-
more, it's not
That's right.
okay, which kind of confused me at the time.
okay.
Yeah.
So, but yes, there is the 80 square foot provision. That's where I originally got the idea.
If you're conforming.
Correct.
It is a permanent structure. So it's not like a bin, that you would buy from Home Depot and put floats and stuff in there.
That's what I'm
That-
trying to avoid, right? I
Right.
just think a clean shed would look nicer.
I
than
know,
a,
it would be, but I think
kayaks.
it is a structure. It's a building. an accessory building. And it does require a 75-foot setback. If you were on a non-conforming lot, we could allow for pushing it back as far as we could.
Right.
But,
So where you've got it marked here, as you move back from the water, what are you running into?
So it just, a steep slope, and there's a lot of boulders on that property. So basically, right where the shed is proposed, which meets the 25-foot, which I think was part of the variance for non-conforming lots. Then it just goes into a steep slope with boulders and everything right above it, so. And then the other side of the property is kind of the same deal. There's a lot of land there, it's just all a significant slope.
yeah,
But in that one area, again, it was kind of a nice little clearing to begin with, that seemed to be the perfect size. No runoff, concerns at all there. I don't even think,
So the stairs that are there,
yes.
obviously were put in sometime back, sometime ago.
No, those were allowed under the infiltration steps. They're not like there's like a provision for infiltration steps, so those were permitted a few years ago.
right, you're allowed to have a 4-foot path to the water.
No, I was just trying to think if there's a way to fit that in there somehow.
Oh,
That was all.
you mean instead of take the stairs out, put the shed there?
Well, you never know.
I mean, there was a shed when I bought the property that, was dilapidated.
That's too bad that
There
you
was
didn't.
something existing, it looked like a shed, but.
Looked like you said.
Yeah, if there was one there, and that, too bad you tore it down, because if you had one there, then you could come before us, and as long as you didn't build it, if you wanted to rebuild the whole thing, then we could allow you to build it as far back as you can, that's
Right.
reasonable.
Yep.
And, but if you tear it down, then you have to go back to 75 feet.
So Rebecca, you said even a tent type structure has to be 75 feet?
Any type of trailer or anything, like, you mentioned an ice shack, like, could people
I'm
store
just-
an ice shack on skids?
Well, an ice shack is movable,
That's what
right?
I mean, so if I made an ice shack, which would serve my purpose of just,
I'm not saying you can one way or the other, but everybody, there's a lot of places where people pull their ice shack up for the summer onto the beach.
that would actually be
Right.
better for me, because I
And
don't
then-
use it as an ice shack in the winter. And there's your
And
movement.
just,
Right,
So I wouldn't mind putting it on skids if that was something that would be acceptable.
yep, it's
I think
removable.
that's
Well,
pretty,
if
I
it's
don't think it-
movable, I wouldn't see, what is it, 7 months and you have to move it? Is that what the deal is?
I haven't found that in the ordinance yet,
No,
I'm still looking for it.
Excluding,
Almost think that comes from the state.
so it's not
It has
a
to
lot
be
of.
moved.
I
I
think
think,
so.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But that might be a really viable option for you.
Right, so
You know?
So the ice shack falls. in
Yeah,
that
I don't-
category.
that's actually kind
That's
of a
all I
benefit.
interpret.
Yeah,
Yep,
I don't know if, that would avert any of
so you
this
wouldn't need any
process.
permit then, would you?
says no garage or other accessory building shall be located at a distance less than the front setback requirement. So you really have to go as far back as your house.
So do you have much of a beach area there?
I don't, no, but it is flat, area going into the water. So easy for the kids,
I think that would be almost a much better option for you if you set it up that way.
I'm happy to do that. So,
I'm not
Just trying
sure
to be
Rebecca will
comfortable.
go out every year to check and see if it moves.
yeah. Yeah, I can do it. I can get something down on the water to pull it to the ice in the winter.
Yeah.
So does
Do
it
you
freeze?
see any other option?
No, I think that's a good option. It's removable. It's not a
Yeah, and
permanent
then you don't
structure.
even need. a
You don't
permit.
even need a permit from us.
Okay. Well, that
Right.
certainly.
From Rebecca, right, it's
And
a.
she's smiling, so that's good.
Yeah, yeah. all right. You like it? All right, you like it. I'll invite you guys all over to the ice shack.
Sounds good.
So I guess, it has to, you'll have to actually have it on skids or something, because at some point, if the assessor goes and sees that you have a shed there, then,
Mm.
you know,
Yep.
violation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll figure out, I guess, skids
Put a little sign on it says Ice Shack.
Yeah.
There you go.
That sounds good to me. All right. Okay, well, I can start down that road and if you guys get any calls or anything.
I think that's your.
It just has to be, an ice shack has to have your name and your phone number on it.
Okay,
Yes, that's right,
Per,
yeah.
if you look at the ice fishing laws and whatnot, it'll tell you how to define an ice shack.
okay. I will look at that.
Yeah, if you go on the main fishery, fishing game out there, there's, I think they probably have the rules about that.
Okay.
So put the signage on there and,
Yeah, it's like the rules they have for putting the tree stand up, get the heavy name.
that's right, just like a tree stand, yeah.
All right. Pretty easy. All right, I'll pursue that. Appreciate the idea there. All right.
Sorry, wish we could
Good
look.
luck.
at it.
Yeah, no, that's even better. That saves some time and so. yeah.
And money.
All right, thank you so much. Have a good night.
Okay.
Okay. Harper Residential, we don't really have anything to deal with tonight because we're waiting for them to get state approval.
Yeah, they sent an email, I put the copy of it in here that said we didn't have anything new, and they were waiting for the DEP approval. I believe they're still waiting on the finalization of their homeowners association contract,
Yep.
which will have to go to the town attorney to be approved as well. But he knows that.
So Carlisle Brook Estates sidewalk.
Did they know they were supposed to come today?
I thought they knew that. They,
Mentioned it to
when
them.
we had our other meeting, they knew they had to be.
No, they
They were
asked
supposed to be
Tom
here.
on site if they had to be here for this, and Tom told them they didn't have to be.
No, they didn't have to be, okay.
Who told them?
Tom. Oh,
Kevin?
Kevin, yeah.
All right.
Kelly.
Oh, Kelly.
Oh, Kelly did. Oh,
Why
all
would
right.
Kelly tell them they didn't have to be here
I
tonight?
don't know.
Of course they have to be here.
Is that what you heard?
Did you hear that? I wasn't
I
there.
did not hear
Oh.
that specifically.
Okay.
Neither here nor there. I'm
Yeah.
curious to hear what you guys saw.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wasn't there, so.
Yeah.
me neither.
So we probably shouldn't discuss it unless the
Why not?
applicant is here. Okay, so we can, okay.
It's on the agenda.
There,
And they can view it on YouTube also.
Yeah.
Right,
and they have their public hearing set for.
I was gonna say, they're on for a public hearing already.
Right.
so-
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
pretty much.
so what's your thoughts there? Kevin? Tim?
We didn't venture into the woods or anything. We didn't feel there was a need to. The center line was staked out of the new road. We saw the lot lines that abutted Walker Road and Carlisle Brook Road. The drainage, we went over the drainage area, the culvert where the water was going to drain off. All was copacetic with the drawings and whatnot.
how about the back lots? There were what, 3 back lots on that? Is that
Yeah.
the application?
Yeah.
Um,
The one thing that appeared to be a little bit of a gray area to me is there's one and possibly 2 lots that would be accessed from Carlisle Brook Road,
these,
which does not meet, it isn't built to town standards.
Yeah,
it doesn't have the frontage.
It's a very
No, it's-
narrow road.
It's at the frontage.
Yeah.
This is a glorified driveway. After driving down it to turn around, saw it. We really need to get the opinion of the fire chief, whether he should require a extended turnaround for the driveway for this lot. The driveway's gonna be snake right along the property line. I know we can't require improvements for Kyle Brook Road because that's already an existing private road. But we need the fire chief to sign off that it's okay or not, to allow that lot with some kind of turnaround provision for their trucks.
So
Otherwise, they have to go all the way down here.
so this is a private way that's going to be a road, right?
It already exists.
It is there already?
Yes.
Okay. So are these, is this the frontage of the house? Or is the frontage on Walker Road?
Well, this lot has frontage, a ton of frontage.
Yeah, that one's all set.
Theoretically, their driveway can come off of Walker.
Okay,
It's just this one lot over here that has to come off of Carlo.
okay. So, and that has, is that 300 feet? of
Yeah,
frontage?
there's plenty of
There's
frontage.
plenty of frontage there.
And the other gray area I thought of after the fact is we asked them about an HOA. They said there was an HOA in place, but I don't know, is there an HOA for Carlisle Brook Road? Would that lot be required to be part of the two HOAs?
Right.
Good point.
Well,
There's a road association, there's not an HOA like a subdivision.
There's an agreement, there's a
There's
maintenance
road
agreement.
Maintenance agreement for Carlisle Brook Road.
Oh, there is, okay.
So
That may have to be addressed in the HOA for the subdivision.
Yeah.
that's what I was
It
thinking
might
after
be
the
just
fact.
as simple as a note on the subdivision plan saying that lot.
So you said Carlisle Brook isn't very narrow?
is
Yes.
pretty tight.
Yeah, it is.
Well, we do have private road standards now. And I know on subdivisions, they can be required to bring access roads up to standards if necessary.
That's right, they have to.
Yeah, I agree.
Hmm.
The question, I guess, overall is, because it's part of a subdivision, would that be required?
Well, that's what I'm,
Yeah, no, I see exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, you need to.
and,
the
you know,
subdivision.
technically Lot 5 has frontage on Carlisle Brook Road too. I'm just not, and it hasn't been determined. They could bring their driveway off Walker Road, but there's nothing saying or written that they couldn't bring it off Carlisle Brook Road.
I thought that was an issue in subdivisions. Separate roads is supposed to be,
Well, Harper subdivision's got two roads,
yeah,
two access roads, actually.
right.
But they're bringing everything up to town standards.
Yes,
and
they
everything's
are.
gonna be
They
brought
are,
to town
yes.
standards.
Yep.
That was a requirement.
Yep.
So, and this is,
That's the number road.
that's the new road with the hammerhead.
I guess I gotta read my subdivision plan.
Well,
I gotta do some more studying because I'm just not sure where to go with that.
So this one.
yeah,
the
I'm
frontage is- yeah, this one.
not sure if it's fair to the rest of the people on Carlisle Brook.
Oh, I agree.
And
agree.
and this one,
Um,
These two are back lots.
and how does, how
I'm
do you
not
have
real
access to this?
confident with subdivisions. That We've done one complete since I started.
It doesn't,
Well,
Sometimes don't allow access up.
yeah, and I think,
Where's Don when you need him?
I know. Well, I gotta sit down and just read. I gotta read
yeah,
something,
I
see
think we
what
need
it
to look at the
says.
subdivision.
Something will come up and say, this is what you gotta do.
So other than that, you know, from that lot line over, everything appeared fine.
That's good. The new road has good sight distance.
Yeah.
I think their biggest issue, but they're not gonna be doing actual building, is just selling the lots. Is when you do build on the lots, there's a lot of rock up there.
Is there? Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's long.
it's inevitable. I think there'd be some blasting.
That's long.
And I think in their original application, it mentioned the amount of rock in the test pits and whatnot.
So they're just looking to sell the lots?
Yes, they're not going to develop.
I know, I gotta read the subdivision stuff and look at that, and look at the road standards.
Look at the road, yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I listened to the meeting and I think it was, he was saying that he already, is this a second split of his property?
He bought the big chunk, split one single lot off, and is now creating a subdivision out of the rest.
Okay. I guess that's-
Beyond,
Can only split every 5 years, so I guess that covers it.
Yeah, that's the one that they're currently clearing this out and gonna put a house in that. That's.
beyond lot 6
Okay.
is the
That-
previous
that's
lot.
just- okay.
I will read up on it for our next meeting. When you read it without a purpose in mind,
That's right.
it's hard to,
Right.
No, you've
grasp
got to
it
be
all.
able to, yeah,
you gotta be
Apply.
looking for something in there.
agreed.
Is it, was it road paved, that private road? Carlisle? No.
No, it's a dirt road.
The HOA for Carlisle Brook Road, is that what you said there was?
It's a road maintenance.
It's a
Road
It's a-
maintenance agreement.
Yeah.
Can we, is there somebody we can ask for a copy of their agreement to see what it includes and how it would pertain to this, maybe?
John Green or Herbie Myers probably would. I think Herbie plows the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, it's just one more thing to do. Oh, I'm just thinking it would be nice to have that to reference, you know?
If you want, I can make it an account to run into them, make it a point to run into them if you want. Okay.
I'll put a little star, that's how I know that I'm supposed to do something.
Okay.
Yeah, because the corner lot, I would think if whoever buys it to build, if there's no stipulation they have to come off a Walker Road, they could impact that road association.
Correct.
And you want to make sure whatever is agreed on is covered there for that. And then the other one is kind of stuck in the back anyway, so they're not going to have a whole lot of choice.
No, they have to entrance at the lot line.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, to
exactly.
avoid that
Yeah,
wetland.
because the looks pretty wet right there, yeah.
There's a lot of wetlands in that.
Yeah,
one lot.
go swimming on the way in. You know.
Yes.
There's not a lot of building envelope in that one lot. It
No.
doesn't look like it.
No, it doesn't look good. Of course, I've seen some places they built down here that
Mm.
You wonder.
they filled in,
Yeah, and it really-
Yeah.
There's some
You know?
issue with
Yeah.
backlots.
so.
They-
So that's all we really need to do with
Being
that, is
restricted.
because we're gonna have the public hearing on it, and then we're gonna
Yeah,
discuss
I
it
mean,
more.
everything seemed to be complete. The documents were detailed and
Yep,
appeared to be accurate.
Yeah.
So the one thing,
Right, because this is part of the subdivision.
is there a required site distance?
Is this a
Because I know that was a question.
Is there a
Mr. Chair, may I
No,
ask
go-
a question?
yeah, please.
I wanna make it
turned
official.
around,
Um,
look at this corner here.
There was a question on the Brock Road subdivision about the distance for the site line.
So, I
It
mean,
was
I think,
measured.
I would think that we'd have to have.
But I think that's a state standard,
Right?
if I'm not mistaken.
But is it in the subdivision standards that you have to have, because
Hmm.
they had to cut trees back over there on Brock Road.
Mhm.
And it just came to my mind, do we need to measure to make sure that it has that required, I don't know if there's a required distance.
Is it general purpose or-
Because of the turn in the road there, we actually stood where the apron would be and
375.
viewed both directions. I thought it was very sufficient.
Oh, yeah, we witnessed vehicles coming, you could hear them coming in the snow, quite a ways away. When they first appeared, it was well over 500 feet.
Probably way
It
better
was-
than Brock Road.
Oh, yes.
Okay, that was my question.
Yep.
Kind of, sort of.
One thing I didn't happen to notice, I'm sure there's a stop sign required at the end of that road, but if you were to stop where a sign would be, you're actually back a little bit further, which help improve the line of sight.
You know, when you technically measure for sight distance, it's at that spot where the driver would be set back from the stop sign. I think it's 4.5 feet from off the ground. That's your sight distance triangle.
So I know there was an issue, that Carlisle Brook Road, is that a very narrow dirt road? Is it? Yeah. See, I think it'd be the same, I think the subdivision would have to, they would have to upgrade, I think, that road. Carlisle Brook Road. And we've had this issue
Just-
before where
just to
subdivision was
the,
going to be
Just to the lot line of lot, or to a point where,
to where the subdivision, I think that road would have to be upgraded.
Yeah, but all the frontage on that road would have to be.
Right, right to the end of that
Reading the
property.
road standards correctly.
Right. The roads must meet the minimum specifications for roads approved by the town of Lyman and specified therein, and I believe the road that it comes on to has to be up to standard too.
Does it have to come up to private road standards as it's defined now?
Probably private road standards.
Is
Yeah.
it in the private road standards, 2.1.5, no additional lots, dwelling units, or uses shall gain legal access or establish legal frontage via the designated easement or right of way without first meeting the dimensional and construction standards for private ways.
Okay, so that's what that's saying. They have to bring that road up to standards
What was the section?
2.1.5
in the streets,
in
the street,
in the street.
in the street
acceptance.
ordinance.
It's technically under backlots, but that's.
Was it
under-
2.1.5?
Kevin, you're saying for subdivision.
2.1.5.
This is under the private way, backlot access.
Right, and it says in the subdivision standards that the public access roads have to be built by this standard.
But if it's already existing,
Because it's a private road, I
The road's
believe.
existing, but the lot isn't.
Right.
It says the lot cannot be, no additional lots shall gain legal access or establish legal frontage via the designated easement or right of way, which they're designating Carlisle Brook as right of way until without first meeting the dimensional and construction standards for private ways specified in section 2.3.1.
so if,
so does the hammerhead fall into,
Yeah, I would think they'd have to have a
For
hammerhead
the
on that.
second property on Carlisle Brook, if that was a single owner piece of property only, you're saying if they wanted, somebody wanted to build on the lot that they owned on that street, they would have to bring up Carlisle Brook to private road standards to put a driveway into their lot.
No, I don't think so, because that's not that would not be a subdivision.
Well, that's what I was asking,
Mm,
but, okay,
That one's not but this is a subdivision.
okay, all right, I follow.
So at least it would have to go as far as that lot, you know, the boundary of that
To the
lot.
far point of the
Mm.
lot.
You think it'd have to go to the far point or wherever the driveway would go in?
I would,
That's
Because
the
I don't-
dimension of the
I
subdivision.
don't think they're gonna go down to the back corner of that lot to try to come in with a driveway. Unless
No, but
they
I
have
think
a
the fire
pontoon boat
department,
get
they need to-
across.
The fire department,
I
it's
think
part of
if
it.
you
is-
dug far enough, it would define the frontage of that lot.
Yeah. Okay, no, I'm fine.
I'm not, don't
Yeah.
quote me.
No, no,
but I-
no.
That would be my
No.
suspicion.
That's the only reason I ask questions, because I don't know.
Yep.
That's why I ask. So, all right. So we'll have the public hearing the next meeting, and then we'll try to address the other questions.
The next meeting is,
May 7th, right?
but that's different public hearings. That's Patrick Gagnon and Danielle Marquardt. The
So
meeting after on the
Oh.
21st is
it's about
this
no
public hearing
lessons for them.
Yeah.
On Sid Road, they must have access at grades,
The 21st
so we
is
don't know,
this one.
but
that
that
is Carlisle's.
grading is in that area.
It's,
All right, so that's right, gives me plenty of time
Is it
to read
with
up on it.
yeah.
Gives you, plus we have the extra week in April. We have 3 weeks until the next meeting. So you have lots of
Planning
time
board
for
may
reading that.
approve the creation of.
So I can rake more acorns up.
Yes,
Oh, thank you.
yes, you can.
Oh, my God. I've never seen a year like this with acorns.
Oh,
There
it's-
was one a couple years ago.
Not this bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
This year's unreal.
And public hearing was what was the date?
May 21st.
21st. That's when I started to write, and then, geez, that's a ways out.
It is. It's because we have the
So
extra week.
he's got he's got the maximum of 3. So he needs to write a request for us to,
yeah, basically, it's less impact than having to build a road all the way down here.
but he could do that. And I think that's the,
Yes.
Yeah.
that's the point.
I've
If
got that on
you
my
can't
list
do
for
it,
the
then
21st
this,
already.
but he could.
Yeah, well, my argument would be you'd have to treat so much more, it would involve more impact. If they built the road all the way back there.
I mean, cost.
Not just cost, but just environmental impacts.
Right.
Permanent, impervious surface, have to treat all of this versus just this stretch. That's why they do that. Because it lessens all that.
But is that according to the, is that the unique circumstance on the lot? In which the shape of the lot prohibits the creation of road frontage. It does not prohibit the creation of road frontage because it can extend that road.
But they're also dealing with lots of wetlands and stuff.
I mean, this one would be a bad, but this one, yeah, frontage. Frontage on this road. So I guess, we would need, it says here, the planning board may approve the creation of backlots within the subdivision upon separate written request of the applicant. Before the creation of any backlot is approved, the planning board must make written findings that the following criteria are met. Unique circumstances exist on the lot in which the shape of the lot prohibits the creation of road frontage that would otherwise be required under the town's ordinances. 2, the use of backlots will significantly minimize the impacts to one or more environmental elements of the lot. 3, the use of backlots will not circumvent the substantive requirements of these regulations. And number 4, no more than 3 backlots will be created within the subdivision.
So that would be creating 2 backlots?
I think got 3 there, right? Got 3 backlots. So you read, that's the maximum that would be allowed, but, I mean, the way I look at the map, you could extend that road. The road that they're creating, where they put the hammerhead, that could go all the way down and give road frontage to that lot. You think this could be. a
Is
road
this
could be done.
considered a backlot too?
No, because that one has frontage
It's got
on
frontage,
what?
yeah. So 1, 2, and these would not be backlots if they're on this road.
These are not. Yeah, I think all of them. I think those 3. These 3 are backlots.
This is 1, 2. 1, 2.
Actually,
There should be 3 backlots, aren't there?
where's the 3rd backlot?
Well, if you're coming off Carlisle Brook Road, is that considered a backlot?
No, because it has road frontage, right?
Non-conforming road frontage.
It's not 300.
No, non-conforming as in the road's not built on private way standards.
Oh, right, it's, but
Technically,
but it is road frontage. I mean,
So that technically there's 2 backlots, 1, 2, right here. This has got frontage, this got frontage here, and this has got frontage here. So it's just 2 backlots.
This one doesn't have frontage on the road.
No, it's got frontage on this one.
So these 3 would be backlots. This is the road they're creating.
Right, but that's gonna, if they're creating that road, it's gonna have road frontage, right?
So
the
then
300, is it gonna have
Oh,
the,
God, I can't read that small.
Yeah, it's 4 something.
It's 400 and
39,
438.
400, yeah, 439 feet is what.
Yeah, 400, yeah.
so that
So-
one has road frontage.
So there's just 2 backlots. And I can understand not wanting to go back in here, because you've got a substantial amount of wetlands in there.
You could go down here though.
But what is that really gonna benefit anybody? If you've got access to this lot, you now have access to this lot and access here. Coming down further is not gonna improve the access.
You'd have the road frontage,
This already has the road frontage. These are the 2 that don't.
right? But if you extended, this has road frontage, right?
No, this has road frontage.
That,
This does not, this,
I know, but if you extend the road, this will have road frontage.
right, but that'd be a lot of cost to just increase that.
it drops
Well,
off.
see, we can't, cost is not, we cannot decide, because of cost. It has to be one of these reasons, unique circumstance, in which the shape of the lot prohibits the creation of road frontage.
would say the
But looking at
topography is-
practical purposes,
Yeah, the topography is a restriction. Right after the end of the hammerhead, it drops off.
It drops off like 50 feet.
Oh, it does?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
I forgot about that.
okay.
Well, no, not 50 feet. We're 208, 204 down here, and we're 214, 200. It drops 14, 15 feet.
Yeah, so it says has to, but on a road must access at grades not exceeding 3% to the said road.
Yeah, that's actually 24-foot drop within 50 feet. It's pretty steep.
that's pretty steep, yeah.
So the applicant has to write a written request. Justifying the creation of the backlot.
Mhm. That makes sense to me. That's pretty rocky, hilly area in there. Quite a bit up and down.
Yeah.
But then then again, most alignment is.
That's right.
Yeah, it is. I will read up on
Would you like them invited to the next meeting to ask questions about the sidewalk, or would you just want to wait until the public hearing? Or any of the other things to do with the application questions about? Or do you just want to wait until the public hearing? I'll do both.
Oh, I got the impression they were in a rush.
Oh, they are. Yeah, they're pushing. Yeah.
I don't see as it would hurt to say, if you want to be here to answer questions, it would be Nice.
Beneficial.
beneficial, courteous. What do you guys think? Yeah? What,
About
that.
to come to the next meeting to answer some more questions?
Yes, I think,
Yeah. I think it's a good
Yeah.
idea.
is there a public, do we set up a public
Yeah,
hearing?
it's the 21st. of May.
Okay, yeah, we should have him come before.
Yeah.
Try to iron out stuff so that when he presents it, it's,
A little more coherent,
yeah,
yeah. Because it's very rare that you get a subdivision application with one meeting and then a public hearing.
right,
Mm,
yeah, usually there's a lot to work out.
I'm good with that.
Because I've been through one, so I know so much. And Harper, who's been going on for 2.5 years.
I know, it's amazing, huh?
Uh,
All right. Do we have the meeting minutes to look at? Okay, we'll find them, all right? So is there anything else on our agenda that anybody has questions on? The Wilderness Way, looking for a vehicle inspection site, and Daniel Marquette, which I didn't make that one.
Yeah,
Again,
I
another-
didn't make it either one of those, so,
Yeah. What is, Marquette, just a quick question, what was everybody's thoughts on that, or what'd you see?
It's fairly steep down to the water. There were numerous old landscaping structures and stairs and whatnot, non-compliant.
Lots of concrete
It-
and impervious.
It was
Really?
littered with
Yeah,
is that
Stuff.
coming up?
below, above and below
Hmm.
where the proposed deck would be.
so what was the thoughts on the deck? Is it gonna be making it closer to the water than the structures are? Or is it equal to? Or is it something that you think that taking the steps and stuff and cleaning that up and letting them have a space for the deck, a good trade, worthwhile to the environment?
It's still a little unclear exactly where the 75-foot line is.
Yeah,
I know it's at a slightly different angle than the house. That's part of the issue.
so there's a rock wall, I understand that. Okay. How does that fall in line with the distance from the lake?
One side of it, I think the deck is going to be directly above it, and it's on the other side. The west side, southwest side, that's dips into the setback.
Is it beyond that wall?
Well, it wasn't staked or anything. We don't know where the 75-foot really is exactly. It appeared as though somebody pulled a tape measure at some point, but it's a pretty steep grade. You need to pull a vertical line,
Right.
which
Right.
only a surveyor could do at that, because you'd need a 20-foot pole, you know.
Did we
Yeah.
ask for that? Did we ask for a survey? I thought we had asked for a survey, did we?
Yeah.
So,
So was he gonna
His,
provide?
I asked about it. His reply was, it's been done, it's on that.
right, I
It's on
agree. I
the
think
site map.
we should have it surveyed.
I didn't go back through everything. I didn't see a stamped. Maybe it's it.
Please. So that's unfortunately I think that one, I think I was out of town when that, for some reason. And then the snow on the last one. makes it
Those were
difficult.
snow days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know how difficult it is on the shoreline to meet setbacks and everything, because houses aren't square too.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
house has our addition is on an angle.
Is that right?
Yep, because the corner of it was 73 and a half.
Is that right?
So it's not, if you look at the
So-
addition, it has an angle.
Am I correct that somebody that lives there is handicapped? He gets around in a wheelchair?
No, the people who acquired this property actually live, it's my understanding, live several houses down. This property became available and they purchased this as well. They were using the handicap thing as part of the, 10 feet really doesn't do it for us. We want 12.
But there was nobody there, of the owners that are handicapped needed that space.
No, somebody had just had surgery or something,
One of
right?
the owners, she had hip surgery. Sorry, I don't need to stand right here.
I think
I'll stand at Tim's end because he's got a nice empty spot here. I was just trying to find what I had.
To me, 88 plank is 42 inches wide.
I'll give you that section.
Their argument is the table would be the wheelchair, the wall would be on the table. My argument is table could be wheels, it would be half the size, smaller.
right, they can adjust the
This
tape.
is the original.
Corner section would go into.
Yeah, because that was what I was thinking,
Is that-
that somebody who was living there was handicapped, they needed space.
This isn't the same, this is market, this isn't the same road. Is this December 12th? Yeah, I guess it is the one, right? Yeah, 24 by 12.
I don't know what
That's
the
yours.
relevance of that is, because it's not 75.
My other concern too was the stairs going down. It was quite the drop off.
Well, taking the stairs out, is that gonna negatively affect runoff?
I don't see us.
Which is better, having the
with
stairs there or
75
taking
foot
them out?
Yeah.
That's my question.
Defined.
If you take the concrete out and replace it with like
I was looking for it the other day for the,
grass or ECM or something.
there was something that was supposed to have one
That would be
inside.
It would be an improvement.
I wasn't finding that either, but it was a quick glance through.
So these are the stairs.
And that would be the square footage credit.
So they remove that, yeah,
And the other,
there's the water.
is the neighbor next door has a brand new deck and stairs, well, way closer to the water.
How did that happen?
Based on visual, there was a replacement.
Okay,
Because there was a structure below it.
right. If they're replacing what's there,
Yeah, but it's much closer to the water than this.
Right. and a lot of, but you can't justify them going closer to the water because as the neighbors. is.
No,
Is there a deck on the front of it now, Kevin?
this is just a blow up of
Hmm.
what we were looking at, Julie.
Yes.
On the neighbor's house?
No, on the property in question, is there a deck on the front of it now? Or is this, that's,
It's like a cement.
Yes.
I don't see
Cement.
with the 75 foot.
and is this the rock wall they were
And I
talking
didn't
about
see
that's
it
here,
either.
right here?
I'll look a little more, but,
That's the street.
Oh, Julie,
oh, that one. That was his phone number.
There's multiple rock walls and concrete. My concern is that the deck is gonna be up here and then the steps are over here and this drops off, so.
Okay, but there's no deck there now.
no,
Really? Okay.
if the deck's built at that elevation and you come out 12 feet and the grade continues dropping, you're gonna have to carry your run stairs out substantially further.
Yeah,
I think more so than what he's showing.
I agree.
You know,
Bigger
he's being a little
what do
overconfident.
they call that, artistic,
Yeah.
Something or other.
Being
Yeah.
conservative.
I think if the grades were short,
Yes,
you would find out that you're not gonna get 7 3/4 rises.
Right.
And an
legal
11.
stairs.
Just put it in a slide.
Yeah, basically.
So, did we find anything that gives us?
There's
setback?
nothing that I found.
So we should
shows-
request from him that we need a survey, certified survey mark that shows us where the setbacks are.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think it has to be a surveyor because of the grade change.
Oh, absolutely.
You're not gonna pull a tape measure.
We need exact
Accurately.
figures on how much we're going into the setback.
is that what this is? The branch?
That's the original.
I
It's the
think that's a
original one.
reasonable request.
So you need a survey showing the 75.
So, for the full width of the front of the place.
Yeah.
So we need to see each end that's facing the lake,
Full width
front corner.
of the deck.
With the proposed deck over.
With an overlay of the deck
Yeah.
over the,
But I'd like to see what, from the front two
The
corners of the
shoreline
house
zoning
facing the lake, what's the setback on those two corners? I know they've ruled in the past, if you're extending the deck sideways, even though that moves things closer to the lake, that's permissible. It's, you can't take what's there now and go closer to the lake. You can go sideways, but not forward. Whether that makes sense or not, I don't know. But I know that's been the past.
what keeps haunting me a little bit is a good friend of mine, my best friend. He and his wife purchased a piece of property on Highland Lake in Wyndham. There was a deck built with the town of Wyndham's permission. And the lending institution required a survey. They did the survey, it encroached. The only way they would close on the property is if that corner of the deck were cut off. So they had to come back, redo the survey just because of the law. You know, they're protecting their interest as well. So
Right.
even if we say, yeah, that sounds reasonable to us and whatnot, somewhere down the road, to me, it can come back to bite them.
Right. Yeah, we have to make sure that we,
And then where's the liability?
right. We have to make sure too, we're compliant with
Yeah.
the
Well,
zoning.
Again, I'd like to see what the real setback is
Exactly.
and what they can actually fit without encroaching on that. And if it's workable. You know, I think that's a reasonable thing to ask. Makes sense to me.
You're making my list longer.
I'm sorry. Do you have anything else for us, Julie, that you're aware of?
I don't think so. I did a tentative agenda that I gave all of you for the next time.
Yeah, that looked good to me.
Yep, you got my vote.
It's pretty busy. Yeah, we're pretty busy,
Probably will be for the summer too.
probably. So we have the 2 public hearings.
The next meeting is-
Information. And then we'll have the public hearing the following meeting. Hopefully we'll have some minutes next time.
Does anybody else have anything to discuss before we go?
Just one quick word, we can wait until Kelly's back and we have a little break in our agendas. Rebecca found the information about the performance guarantee.
Oh, for subdivisions?
Yes,
Yeah.
that kind of got lost in the shuffle this past year.
Yeah.
Last July, she actually received an email back from the town attorney with his thoughts on changing the verbiage. So instead of,
So in short, what did he say?
we had it as Jeanette, as the town treasurer, was, everything's up to her. He changed it to the planning board.
Really?
Why would he do that? So it's the discretion of the planning board?
The planning board shall determine the amount and form of the performance guarantee.
And what did Rebecca?
We can discuss it.
Okay.
I just want to say that it's not, it's back on the table here, so.
And does that comply with our ordinance? Our ordinance, I don't believe,
Well, we can change the ordinance.
Yes. this is-
the subdivision standards, right?
Right. So, you want to vote on our agenda, because you're gonna make it official.
Okay.
So,
I have a motion on the next agenda.
I move.
Second here?
Yeah.
Tim seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you, Julie.
that's the agenda.
Okay.
I believe that's all I got.
Any further motions?
There's nothing else to do here, is there?
And it is.
It is, I move to adjourn.
Do I have a second here? Tim second. All in favor?
Aye.
You got it. Toyota.
Wait till I finish writing. Tim second. Oh, say yes.